Thank you. I will be brief since we only have 90 minutes for our entire caucus to speak about our God-given constitutional rights. We all agree that we want safety. Is that correct? Because newsflash, gun ownership saves lives. I've said it until I am blue in the face. You cannot argue against those facts. You cannot argue against the fact that 3 million crimes are prevented on a yearly basis, or almost 8,000 a day, by brandishing a gun. You cannot argue that every year 400,000 life-threatening violent crimes are prevented using firearms. You cannot argue that fewer than 1% of firearms are used in the commission of a crime, but over 3 million are used to prevent crime. You cannot argue those facts. Gun ownership saves lives.
Armed citizens are stopping criminals every day. Despite this reality, gun control advocates and lawmakers are spending their time pushing legislation that would severely hamper the ability of law-abiding Americans to defend themselves and others.
Gun ownership does save lives because guns are the greatest equalizer for people like me. They will save my life against an attack. Gun ownership does save lives.
We don't make law-abiding citizens safer by disarming them or making them less capable of fighting back against criminals. We only make them easier targets.
And we don't even know how much it will cost. Let's run a bill, have no solution, and tell everyone that they have to have firearm insurance, and we don't even know the cost of it.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Pricing gun ownership can be out of means for poverty-stricken communities. And we talk about poverty-stricken communities disproportionately affected by landfills and railroads, but we're not going to talk about these people and their rights to defend themselves. So we only talk about disproportionately affected communities when it works for us. This insurance discriminates against those who cannot afford insurance. Self-defense is an inherent human right. The 14th Amendment is America's, that no law-abiding person will be deprived of that right regardless of color. This bill does just that. We are tying the hands of law enforcement, and now we are tying the hands of gun ownership. What's the solution? Hugs for all? The more gun restrictions you put on the people of Colorado, the more crime goes up. Hugs don't work. The law-abiding people of Colorado will resist. We will not continue to let legislators make us victims while letting criminals roam our streets with less penalties. You're turning law-abiding citizens into criminals. There's no part of the Constitution that says you have the right to bear arms only if you have firearm insurance. Stop. Stop telling us what the Constitution says. Stop telling our constituents what the Constitution says. You don't get to come in here and make new rules. This is an attack on our freedoms and our ability to defend ourselves and our families. Gun rights are human rights. And I would urge my constituents, don't give me money for my campaign. Give to the organizations that are going to protect your Second Amendment rights. Vote no on this horrific bill.